student of PGDM second year at IIT Hyderabad. On behalf of the management, faculty, staff and students of IIT Hyderabad, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you to the IIT family. We will begin the inaugural session with lighting of the lamp. May I request the chief guest, Shri P.R. Ramesh, the director of IIT Hyderabad, Dr. Shri Harsha Reddy, the dean, Professor Chakrapani, and a student of 2022-24 batch to come forward and light the lamp.
AC.
AC off cheyna.
Saraswati namastubhyam varade kamarupini vidyarambham karishyami vidyarambham karishyami vidyarambham karishyami siddhir bhavatu me sada siddhir bhavatu me sada siddhi bhavatu me sada.
Now I would request the admissions chairperson, Professor Dhananjay, to welcome the 2022-24 batch.
Good morning, dignitaries on the dais, faculty members, staff colleagues, and future managers, entrepreneurs, parents, and all the well-wishers of IIT Hyderabad family who are watching this proceedings live on YouTube. Good morning to all of you. This inaugural ceremony that we are attending marks the culmination of about 9 months of virtuous admission cycle of campaigning, admission process, offering admissions, and continuous engagement with the students who are all here. And what a beautiful culmination to see all of you in this hall present here for this particular inaugural. There are students from 114 cities who are representing the batch PGDM 2022-24, including a city called Singapore, which is in India. Right? So there is somebody from Singapore who is here, may be present today or may not have registered, probably will be joining us. So we have 114 students from 114 cities. This batch has got a very healthy gender ratio of 32% females and 68% male. Why this month? This batch unusually, for the first time probably I would say in the last 4-5 years, has got more number of commerce graduates at 28%, followed by BTech graduates at 27%, who are followed by the BBA graduates at 17%, science graduates at 15%, and we also have students from law background, hotel management, pharmacy and agriculture. So we have really got a very diverse batch in terms of the place you come from and the kind of educational background you have. In fact, I would like to request each one of you to give a big round of applause. First, let's give a big round of applause for being here. And I'll tell you why I asked you to give this big round of applause. As I speak, this year, forget about the admission, selection and all that. We have refunded fee for more than 50 plus students who could not meet our CMAT cutoff of 90 percentile, which also includes students whose CMAT cutoff, whose CMAT percentile was as much as 89.6. That means you have done something incredible to be here. What we want you to do is carry this incredible journey forward. Yesterday, I was having an informal interaction. I was there with my colleagues and we were interacting with parents. A concerned father asked me, "Sir, now that my son is joining here, whose responsibility it is that he or she gets placed?" I was happy to see that, I was happy to listen to that question, and I'll also share with you the response I gave to the parent. Whose responsibility it is to see that I get the best out of this program? I would say it is a shared responsibility, but the responsibility on part of the institution is to facilitate and guide you. The responsibility is more on your part to understand that guidance, to listen to what the faculty members and the college says or the institution says, and go through that rigorous process so that you get what you have come here for. And that's why I said it is not my responsibility, it is not just your responsibility, it's a shared responsibility, and let us make that as our motto. When we were doing these counseling sessions and we were interacting with students, we always used to get questions like, "Sir, I've been offered PGDM marketing, I would like to shift to finance," or "I've been offered finance, I would like to get into marketing. What is the right specialization for me?" I think there is, it would be right on my part that I share my perspective on this particular point. Guys, each one of you who is joining this program, my sincere suggestion to all of you would be, do not put your blinkers on in term 1, 2 and 3 and get restricted by your specialization. My suggestion would be, do not carry any predispositions. Attend the courses and all the courses of term 1 and 2, term 1, 2 and 3 with the same vigor and the same enthusiasm. And a time will come when you start understanding and appreciating what is that specialization where you need to put in your effort. But more than that, also understand the fact that we are moving towards a world, or we are gravitating towards a world where your specializations in the strict sense do not really carry a lot of meaning. The world is changing around us, and I believe the corona pandemic has expedited maybe 5 times the change process. I keep listening to these seminars where people talk about what is going to be the new normal. My take on new normal is, we are never getting back to the old normal. We are never getting back to the old normal, and when we are not getting back to the old normal, what is the way forward? The way forward is to inculcate and master those skills which the new age corporations are going to value. I'll just give you 1 or 2 points. Who would have thought that $1 million deals will happen online? But that's a reality. 2 years back, if the faculty members had been informed that they are supposed to administer and offer the whole course online, I would have resented that. But because of the pandemic, we have adapted to that, we have accepted it, and today it has become, I think, a very important skill set that most of the faculty members carry here. So online teaching is there to stay. Online evaluation is there to stay. There used to be a time when people used to say that only few have got the luxury of having the work from home option. I wish I could get that option. You have the option now. My cousin works in a multinational corporation in Bangalore. After 2 years of working under the pandemic rule, his company has told him that you are only required to report in the company 1 week every month. So now he has to devise a mechanism whereby, by staying in Hyderabad, he goes every week, 1 week to Bangalore, spends time there, works in the company and comes back to work for 3 weeks from his home. So the simple point I am trying to say here is that things around us are changing. Let us not put blinkers, let us not get constrained by that this is my specialization. Let's put in the effort to imbibe the best of all the courses that we study in term 1, 2 and 3, and then take a judicious call when it comes to picking up your specialization. I hope you guys had attended my session on personal branding, right? And there I had made a very important point, that personal branding is all about earning your expertise in a particular area, where you are known for that particular area or your reputation is there in that particular area. Now from this podium, I want to make that particular call that 1.5 years down the line, each one of you should aim for imbibing or having that one expertise where you are the best. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. If a company comes to the campus and says that I am looking for a student who is very good in understanding of financial statements and financial analysis, the faculty teaching their course should think of you when the company asks for a profile like that. When a company comes to the campus asking for people who are very good in SEO, in the realm of digital marketing, your name should prop up in the mind of the faculty. So guys, aim to inculcate or develop that particular expertise. Like Dhoni is famous for his helicopter shot, let us develop our own shots. Let us develop our own expertise and let's be known for that, because that is what is going to count. In the end, I would like to thank all my faculty members and staff colleagues who have given their unwavering support in organizing and conducting the admission process, and I mean all throughout. I would also like to thank my admission team members, Anirban Banerjee, Sonali and Divya, for working very hard and answering all your queries and all your concerns in seeing that you have a smooth landing on campus. And I would be failing in my duty if I do not acknowledge the efforts of my dear members of the student admission committee. So I would like to thank Aditi, Shreya, Sangini, Rishika, Pujashri, Anjali and Abhishek for being part of the group, entertaining and allowing you to pose all your concerns and queries and responding to them even while doing their internship program. In the end, I would end my thought by just saying that the world is changing. It is good that the world is changing and we are here to change for the better. On behalf of the management, I extend all of you a warm welcome and I extend my best wishes for a very fruitful and rewarding 2-year management PGDM program at IMT Hyderabad. Thank you and warm welcome to all.
Thank you, sir. IMT Hyderabad. I would like to invite now the Dean Academics, Professor Chakrapani, to address the students.
Shri P.R. Ramesh Ji, former Chairman, Deloitte, India. Shri K. Sriharsha Reddy, Director, IMT Hyderabad. Parents, faculty, staff, and students. Good morning and welcome to Abhyuday 2022 at IMT Hyderabad. Abhyuday has been designed to address the diverse backgrounds that Professor Dhananjay was talking about in terms of education streams, experiences, and the students have, and will prepare you for the 2-year rigorous PGDM program starting from 4th July. So we have planned a lot of activities for the next 2 weeks. Abhyuday is built on 6 themes. Okay. So the first theme is the academic sessions. The academic sessions prepare students with basics of accounting, statistics, economics and management. Students will also be exposed to various pedagogies that are used in the classroom and databases and resources that are available at time. The second theme is the information sessions. I'm sure you have a lot of questions on the academic processes, student life at IIT Hyderabad, internships, placements, which are very dear to you. So the respective process heads will talk about those issues. The third theme is the distinguished speaker series. So distinguished speakers, CEOs, CXOs, achievers, corporate leaders and entrepreneurs will address students to inspire, motivate and they share their journey in leadership and running businesses. The fourth theme is the workshop series and I'll be taking a few of the sessions in the workshop. It's predominantly on making impactful presentations and Microsoft Excel. So these are the skills which I believe are important for management graduates. The fifth theme is the social immersion and the community connect. It is taken up with the objective of sensitizing the students towards the society and address real-life societal challenges. And the sixth theme, I believe, is the most important theme, and that's about networking and bonding. So we have a lot of sessions on know your faculty, which is in the afternoon, ice-breaking sessions, outbounding activity. So these are all important, and friendships and bonds forged during these 10 days, we hope will last for a lifetime. So let me conclude with a small story. It won't be long, it's very short. So a man moves to a forest to meditate. So it's like a tapasya. So he sees a crippled fox being fed by a generous lion, and he thinks it's a miracle. Okay. He thinks that God is giving him a message, and the message is this, that you should just meditate and not worry about the food. God will arrange. So after 7 days of this tapasya, he is gasping for water. So a sage passes through and asks him, what happened to you? He narrates the whole story. And the sage replies, why did you imitate the crippled fox and not the generous one? Okay. So the moral of the story is we have always had a choice between taking the wrong message or the right message, inaction or action, find problems around or solve problems around, being a crippled fox or being a generous lion. Okay? So I want all of you to take the path of the generous lion. Best wishes to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. IIT Hyderabad is growing under the leadership of our beloved director, Professor Shri Harsha Reddy. Dr. K. Shri Harsha Reddy, Director and Professor of Financing and Accounting, is a passionate academic leader for the last 2 decades, facilitating quality learning environment for various stakeholders of management education in India. Dr. Reddy is an alumnus of LSE London and attended short-term programs at Harvard Business School, ISB and IIMC. Dr. Reddy has published a book on banking and insurance and several research papers in the areas of banking and finance and fintech. He worked on research projects with NABARD, NPCI and conducted several training programs on India's digital banking and treasury management for bankers in India, Nepal and Bangladesh. Dr. Reddy is on the editorial board of SN Business and Economics and reviewer for Journal of Developing Areas and South Asian Journal of Global Business Research. Dr. Reddy is a steering committee of CFO Forum and EduTech Excellence Forum, CII Telangana and Management Committee, member of Hyderabad Management Association. I request Sir to kindly deliver his inaugural address.
It is very heartening to see all of you physically present here for the inaugural ceremony post two-year pandemic we experienced. I only hope that we are in post-pandemic era and this will continue. Many more such physical sessions we need to have. This is happening after 2 years. You are 12th batch in this institute. 10th and 11th batch, we had to onboard them online. So it is so very hard. Sri P.R. Ramesh, former chairman Deloitte India and BOG member Ranji Karimar, Mr. Chakapani, Dean Academics, my colleagues, parents, media representatives, and my dear students, very good morning. On behalf of management, faculty and staff, we welcome you to a journey of enriching learning experience at IMT Hyderabad. Many congratulations to all those who made it to IMT Hyderabad, which Professor Dhananjay was mentioning about how to, what kind of academic rigor and competitive exams to clear and made it to IMT Hyderabad. What is exciting is that the diverse group here is from 20 plus states in India with diverse education background and new age skills. Thanks to your efforts in academics and competitive exams and support from your parents, you will have access to diverse student network, passionate professors, senior corporate leaders, and industry relevant curricular inputs at IMT Hyderabad. Dear students, each one of you joined IMT family with varied aspirations of making a good corporate career or joining family business or starting your own venture. What do we do at IMT Hyderabad to make you achieve your goals? 1. Nurture confidence and skills for an impactful career. Provide access to global network of corporate professionals. Facilitate immersive learning experience, instill social consciousness. In next 2 years, we expose you to challenging situations with several constraints which will help you to unleash your latent potential. You have to perform under time and resource constraints. Let me share you some of the experiences your seniors shared with us. After 9 years of journey in terms of cracking exams and weighing options, you are here in our campus. Next 2 years, those are the students who would survive the academic rigor and thrive and grab the corporate opportunities which are available, who are disciplined right from the word go, that is today, and committed for the cause of learning, and those who manage their time. So, you all know the program architecture. You have 6 terms, and in these 6 terms, you would have to attend several classroom sessions. Not only classroom sessions, activities, sidelines of the classrooms, that is co-curricular activities, beyond the classroom sessions, that is extracurricular activities, your clubs, committee initiatives. So you would be wanting to have time. But all of us have 24 hours. And so how you prioritize your activities and in a disciplined, planned manner, balance your academic pursuits and co-curricular and extracurricular activities would determine or would define you how you would want to carve your career in the 4th or 5th semester, where corporates would come for campus recruitment. Please understand, my colleague from corporate relations, he keeps conveying it to all of you that we do not provide opportunities so that you just crack a job. We are here to equip you to build a career. Okay. And it will not happen overnight. After serious, committed, disciplined efforts, day by day, day after day, only then. So we would invite inspiring leaders like Shruti Ramesh. This is just a beginning. You would get exposed to 100 plus corporate leaders who are achievers, but they would come here and motivate you, inspire you, which would make you concentrate your energies in sports. But through this, you need to habituate being disciplined. You need to get habituated facing the challenges, be it academic or non-academic, be it hostel stay or your 1.5 hour classroom sessions, and create a difference in you, knowing yourself and creating a difference in you so that you are inspired. I would suggest you to make maximum out of learning ecosystem available at IMT Hyderabad, be it inspiring distinguished speaker series, or enriching classroom sessions, or insightful corporate and community outreach activities, or global immersion, or fun-filled co-curricular and extracurricular. I think our admissions team shared a video link with you that this entire inaugural ceremony is being live streamed on YouTube. And another very key stakeholder in making you build your careers, carve your careers, is your parents. Thanks to the support from your parents who are here, and I want to address all the parents who are listening to us, please note that your children have begun an exciting academic journey at IMT Hyderabad, which challenges their endurance levels, intellectual abilities, and emotional quotient. Some of them quickly adapt, and others will take some time. But eventually, everyone would adjust to this new learning system, where onus is on the learner to make maximum out of the learning ecosystem at IMT. And we seek your support in our endeavor to nurture socially responsible business leaders. Dear parents, let me share you an instance. I think we had a student in our third batch who was slightly disturbed because of her slight physical disability, which we could not even notice. And the parents used to interact with right from induction till she graduated. All the while, parents used to interact with course faculty members, internship mentors, CRO team, so that we gave some comfort to the student, the way they have been giving comfort to us. Initially, when first term they met us, we, in no uncertain terms, we conveyed to the parents that we are here not to keep your children in a comfortable position. Learning is not comfortable posing. Learning happens with facing cracking so many challenges. But she turned out, thanks to the diverse students we had, thanks to the passionate faculty we had, and the entire ecosystem, she turned out to be very confident, and very good singer by the way, and participated in, we have a sports fest called Impulse, very active volunteer, and could crack and excel in academics, 8 CGPA and above, and could crack company when I'm on first year. And last several years, she did so well that only 2 days back, their parents shared their good news with me that she joined one of the Maharajas. So, dear parents, please note that all your children will be put to such an academic rigor and challenges right from their hostel stay to campus placements with only, and they'll be under pressure to for environment and only to help them unleash their creative potential. So please support us in this endeavor. We thank Sri P.R. Ramesh, one of the most respected consulting professionals in India, for accepting our invitation to join IIT Hyderabad board and today's inaugural ceremony. He is an inspiration to several business leaders, accounting professionals, and academicians across the world. He represented India several times in World Economic Forum and one of the most respected professionals, accounting professionals in India. Once again, congratulations and my best wishes for an exciting 2 years ahead. Let us remain curious and keep learning. Thank you,
Thank you, sir, for those inspiring words. Our chief guest for the inaugural ceremony of Abhyuday 2022 is Sri P.R. Ramesh, former chairman, Deloitte India, and independent director with Nestle India, HDFC, and Cipla. Sri P.R. Ramesh has more than 40 years' experience in serving large national and multinational clients in various business sectors. He has been member of SEBI Committee on Disclosure and Accounting Standards Committee and Working Group of RBI, IRDA Standing Committee, various committees and councils of the CII. He has also been member of Accounting Standards Board of ICAI Vision and Reconstructing Committee and Auditing Practices Committee of ICAI and the Secretarial Standard Boards of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. He has co-authored publications by CCH titled IGAP, Financial Reporting Standards in India, including a comparison with International Financial Reporting Standards, IFRS. I welcome you, sir.
Director, IIT Hyderabad, Sri Sriharsha Reddy, Dean Academics, Mr. Chakrapani, Director Admissions, Industrial Hyderabad, members of the faculty, parents, students, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I must thank IIT Hyderabad for inviting me to deliver this keynote address. I stand before you with a lot of trepidation actually when I see the wealth of knowledge in this room and the backgrounds you all have come from, 114 cities, from all streams, the knowledge in the faculty. As I was sitting here, I was reflecting as to whether I am at all an appropriate person to talk to you. I have no notes, therefore, because I am perhaps even ill-equipped in that way. I am not a management graduate, and one of my regrets is I wish I was a management graduate, and I wish I graduated from an institution like this, having gone through all those themes and the rigor which you all are going through. So you all are truly blessed. I can tell you that when I reflect back in my own life. Yes, I am a commerce student, and I was pleasantly surprised to hear that 28% of the students who are joining were BCom. It brings back memories of the time when I gave up a seat in engineering because I was fun loving. Engineering is a difficult life, a lot of machine drawing, a whole host of calculus, all those difficult subjects. My sister was in engineering and she was a gold medalist. She was in electronics and telecommunications. She told how about? So I joined the commerce stream. In the first class, I remember where the lecturer said, "BCom means be calm. Nothing to worry about." I said, "I've come to the best place." Not realize that there is no best place in life. And I think the director admissions correctly said, all of you will graduate in the next 2 years. You're going through a lot of intense programs, the 6 themes which Director Academics spoke about, excellent ones. But I can only say this, that whilst you pass an exam, and I also felt so when I completed my CA course and threw away all my books and thought, I am a CA expert knowledge in many subjects. Little did I realize that I only passed an exam of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and that the exam of life had just begun. So for each one of you, you have realized that the exam of life will begin, or maybe it's already begun with this very first step. But there is no end to this exam of life. There are examinations all through. I am undergoing exams every other day. It doesn't matter which position you are. Director Sri Asharadi spoke about continuous learning. And I think there is just no end to learning. It brings me back to which I always say to every student, because I was inspired by it. A book written by Professor Clayton M. Christensen. He is a Harvard professor. He wrote a book, and I have interacted with him, outstanding man in strategy. Unfortunately, he is no more. He was also on the board of TCS. Real luminary. He wrote a book, How Will You Measure Life? And in that book, he reflects about he was a Harvard student himself. His class of Harvard, just like all of you, you have 90+ percentiles. Harvard had the best in students. It was very difficult to get into Harvard. It is even now. It's not easy. So the best intake. And then everybody gets equal inputs, which is what you all will get. So he started reflecting, if we had the brightest minds and the best education were given to his classmates, including himself, where are they 35 years later? He started reflecting and starting thinking about his classmates. Why is it some of them are Fortune 500 CEOs? Why is it some of them have not been so successful? Why is it some have failed marriages? Why is some in jail, like Jeff Skilling of Enron? So he started reflecting why. When the starting point is the same, you have prepared them for this exam of life, which is the term I'm using. Why is it they don't succeed thereafter in the exam of life? He classifies in his book into 3 areas, which is not the subject of my talk, into resources, processes, priorities. But the point is, all through in future life, you will be undergoing examinations. All what you are being taught here or being put through is the tests which you will be applying all through in life. And then that determines where each one of you will be. It's the same thing when I think about my classmates in school and my classmates in college and my colleagues who passed CA along with me. There were many, even in the organization in which I joined, who were my bosses. And one day I was their boss. So I start reflecting. What is it they did wrong? What is it I did right? And I'm not sure I've got all the answers. But still the fact remains is not everybody will come first in the race. Though the starting point in every race is the same. And it is not always that the best sprinter wins. It's not always that the best academician becomes a Fortune 500 CEO or succeeds in whatever it is. It is about dealing with that exam of life. It is applying all what you have been through here and earlier in that exam of life. And let's talk about that. The director admissions spoke about the changing world. I think it's important to understand that. I can only tell you that I'm envious of all of you, because you are in a phenomenal world today, and you will be in a phenomenal world, even more phenomenal tomorrow. Your great-grandfather, or my great-grandfather, is, or what my great-great-great-great-grandfather, whatever you and his great-great-great-grandchild, their lives were the same. They were going to the same places, they were reading the same things, they were giving the same inputs. Broadly, the life is the same. When I reflect on my own case, go back 40 years plus, what was my life then and what is my life today? Completely different. I have seen that transition. I'm sure my father hasn't seen that transition. We've seen times where you required a license for a transistor or a radio. I had to go to the post office with a passport where I had to pay a tax. They would stamp, and I had a license for a transistor or a radio. Look at the world we are in. Can you even think of it? I needed a license for my bicycle. Today you have a license for a car. Maybe you won't even require that at the point in time. But if you put the clock back, my bicycle had a small token. I used to stop at intersections in municipal corporation to check whether it actually have that token. And what did we have for the bicycles? We had kerosene lamp in front as a light, and we had to ride through the night. And of course, we had rationing. We had a telephone. Telephones came much later. TV came much later. We were all social animals, you must say, mixing with each other, playing with each other, with whatever we had. That was the life which we were brought up in. And what is the life we see today? Gadgets have no life. Every 6 months we want something new. The children even lesser. Every time a new mobile phone is put up by Samsung, they want. And Apple comes up with a new number every year. And they want that. And you find that there was a time, years ago, when my maid or my driver and there was a huge difference. Today the ringtones of my maid are better than my own ringtones. And I find my drivers extremely busy when I call him, he's not answering. I ask him, what's the problem? He says, sir, I was playing Candy Crush or something. Never heard of those things. So you've realized that there is a lot of change which has happened. It's an understatement to say that the world is changing. The world is changing exponentially. And it is therefore important when the world is changing exponentially to reflect on what one should do, what one should be taught, how should one deal with it, what you should do as students. It applies to me, it applies to faculty, it applies to education. You see TV ads on education, you're shocked as to this is the sort of education we've never encountered, and I wish it was there, you'll find it. I can only wish. But then also realize the enormous pressure it is on people. What Ray Kurzweil, who is a famous author, I met him before, he said, in this century, we will see in the 100 years of this 21st century, what we will see is 20,000 years of change, equivalent change. That is change which is exponential. An exponential means, if I may give you an illustration with the king and the chessboard. The guy who designed the chessboard and invented the chessboard showed it to the king, and the king was so happy with the chessboard. He said, ask what you want and you shall get it. The guy said, my lord, I only want 1 grain of rice on the first square of the chessboard, twice that on the second square of the chessboard, that means 2 grains of rice, twice that on the third square of the chessboard, that means 4 grains of rice, so on the 64th square chessboard. The king said, oh, is that all? You shall have it. And he told his minister, please fulfill his wish, not realizing that when you double 64 times, you reach the magic figure of 1 quintillion, which is 1 followed by 18 zeros. That is exponential change. The entire granary in the kingdom was not adequate. First of all, forget, how can one count that many grains? Or even put that many grains on the square of a chessboard. But that's exponential change. What we're seeing today is exponential change, and we're seeing that in various areas. What we're witnessing is a revolution, and you are part of that revolution. And we witnessed revolutions before. The first revolution happened when humans moved from foraging to farming. It was prehistoric time, quite some time ago. Then began, when you go to 1740 to 1860, what we call the first industrial revolution. And how did the first industrial revolution, why was the term? It was because railroads came, railways, and mechanical production started. You had the power of steam, which drove the railways. That created industries. Of course, we had this challenge. Knowledge also came in through printing presses, etc. That was followed by the second industrial revolution, which you talk of. The second industrial revolution is the early 19th century to some part of the 20th century, which came in when electricity was started and assembly lines started, and you had mass production. You had all these automotive companies and big time assembly lines. At that time, even the workers were terrified because they were losing jobs. There is almost an automatic assembly line. If you see the movie by Charlie Chaplin, it's a 1934 movie, Modern Times. There is automation there. There is CCTV there. I personally was shocked as to how could even a director in 1934 visualize a CCTV where the owner or the managing director sits in his cabinet, sees the camera and sees the assembly line going. Imagine, 34, you couldn't even imagine that there could be such a thing. And then we had the third industrial revolution, which started in the 1960s, which is when computing or digital started. When you had mainframe computers and much later laptops, I talk about that. And now, we are in the fourth industrial revolution. And this fourth industrial revolution is not about internet or digitization alone. This is a congruence of the physical world, the virtual world and the physical world. It is also a congruence of virtual digital world, the physical world and the biological world. So you are in the midst of the fourth industrial revolution, and it is impacting everyone. Just like COVID impacted everybody across the world, this revolution which is happening, in some cases silently, in some cases very, very significantly, and I'll use some illustrations, and you can then realize the extent of change which is happening for all of you, and to see whether you are equipped or you are ill-equipped, what you need to do, what are those qualities which are required of you to be able to meet this world. Nobody can predict the future. I was in a program sometime in the early 2000s in Bangkok, where I had a speaker. He had written a book called 10 Lessons from the Future, Wolfgang Brühlke. And we went through an exercise of looking 2 years ahead. He said, look 10 years back and see, did you have a TV in your hotel room? The answer was no. He said, now you have a TV in your hotel room. Fine. And I don't even know where TVs will be now. Why do you even require a TV in a hotel room? You can view it on your mobile or on your tablet or whatever it is. You don't waste time on a TV because you're mobile all the time. And that's a huge change which will happen. So the point is, nobody can predict it. But what we will be guilty of if we don't see the changes which are happening and analyze those changes. Not analyzing changes or not preparing the changes is a recipe for failure. At best, you can read the tea leaves wrongly. You may fail to smell the coffee brewing to some extent. But if you don't read the tea leaves at all, you will be guilty or you will be certain to fail. Future may keep changing and you need to keep pace with it. And there are many things which will change, and it's when you get down to compromise. But I just spoke about the 4th Industrial Revolution and I spoke about technology. Take technology alone. And the 4th Industrial Revolution is the single biggest disruptor. As I said, the question is not about whether you will be disrupted or your business will be disrupted, whether countries will be disrupted. It is when. It is production will be disrupted, distribution will be disrupted, services will be disrupted, education, learning will be disrupted. Everything is being disrupted. Already happening, big time. And when you combine the physical, the digital, and the biological, even the health world, big time disrupted. Big time. And one of the single elements in that is technology. And that is why it is important not to be technology myopic. It is important not to be technology illiterate. It's constant. We older people have this problem. Oh, I don't know, my grandson knows. If your grandson knows, why don't you know? Do you have lesser brains than your grandson, or you have shut off your learning abilities? That is what we have to do, irrespective of age. You can't, today you say, I don't know how to use a mobile. You are misfit in this world. Just a simple gadget like a mobile. A vegetable vendor has it, everybody has it. There are more mobiles in the world than toothbrushes, which is the reality. Maybe there are 6 billion plus mobile phones. You don't have that many toothbrushes, people use neem sticks, etc. That's just an example. But the point is, when you take technology, take speed. Computers, it is predicted that computers in 2023, if you compare with the computers of 2015, will be 64 times faster. The computers. It is what we call the Moore's law. Gordon Moore, who was the co-founder of Intel, in 1965, he observed a very peculiar phenomenon, that the number of components in a chip were doubling each year at the same cost. So effectively, the power of the chip was increasing, but the cost was either remaining the same or becoming lesser. That's called the Moore's law. Little did he realize that the Moore's law is continuing. And today, a tablet has equivalent power of 5,000 desktops. A computer today has the power of a human brain, which is 10 to the power of 16 cycles per second. And it is expected that in the next 15 years, a computer will have the power of all human mind. That's the speed at which processing is happening. I have operated computers in my time. We were talking of speed of processing, and we get impatient when suddenly something doesn't pop up. We have to wait for minutes, several minutes for booting of a system. There were no flash drives, no hard disk drives. So that's speed of processing. The speed, if you look at just the pace of change in technology, insofar as speed is concerned, and had that same pace been used in development of automobiles, a car today would have been capable of being driven at 300,000 miles an hour at that speed. That would have been the pace at what it was. And you would have been able to drive that whole car all over your lifetime in just 1 gallon of fuel. That's the extent of storage. Now let me come to storage. Storage is driven by what we call the Traders law. It said that the storage will double each year at the same cost or at half the cost. In 1956, when IBM made its first computer, it was the 256 MB. It was the size of 2 refrigerators. In the 1970s, I have been witness to IBM 1401. The size and computing power of a computer was determined based on its physical size. I was in Jamshedpur, Tata Steel and Tata Motors. You had buildings which are much bigger than this building housing a mainframe IBM 1401 computer which is doing batch processing. That's storage. The costs of storage are becoming significant. A 1 GB storage today costs less than 3 cents. Just 15 years ago, it used to cost 1 GB $10,000 equivalent. I'm just throwing numbers. You can imagine the cost variation. My laptop, my first laptop, those days used to call it luggables because it was very heavy. My first laptop, capacity processing RAM was 10 MB. You'll all laugh when I say 10 MB. And I'm very happy with it. It's a laptop, not a desktop. Today I have a storage in a laptop which is a flash drive storage, not even a disk drive. Flash storage of 2 TB or 3 TBs in some cases. Pen drive so small which is 2 TB. Can you imagine the power of storage? What does it do to real life? Will it change your lives? Has it changed my life? Sure. Has it changed my reading habits? Kindle has changed my reading habit completely. I have 1500 books on my Kindle. I read as I like. Could I have carried 1500 books on an aircraft? The answer is no. So technology has disrupted a Barnes and Noble in the United States which used to make books. It's disrupted the publishing industry significantly. So if you are an author, you have written a book, it's not a Kindle, perhaps you are not reached. That is storage. So you've got speed, you've got storage, you've got connectivity, you've got sensors. Today technology can sense taste, can smell touch, it can sense touch, it can sense temperature, it can sense speed, it can sense pressure. It can sense virtually everything. Imagine if sensors come in and how does it shape manufacturing? What does it mean for products? What does it mean for devices which don't have it? When you go and buy a car, you'll ask that, you'll now start debating whether Tesla car is a computer on wheels or is it an automobile with a computer. The distinctions are so blurred. This is the world which you are getting into. Just imagine the connectivity and sensors are getting into everything. Maybe at a point in time even smell and taste perhaps. It's only a matter of time. And we all talked about computing power. And we said, fine, it can compute. What did it mean for businesses? What did it mean for services? Huge disruptions. The lawyers of tomorrow, the chartered accountants of tomorrow, like me, hugely disrupted. Why? Because the lawyers would employ paralegals who would go through tons and tons of paper and judgments and do that research. Today it's at the press of a button. Why do you require that many paralegals? The lawyer is disrupted. He has to appear, virtual, and the COVID world has created virtual courtrooms and virtual arguments, so his life is disrupted. And the term used is new normal. There is no new normal. Every day is a new normal. There is no such thing as normal. So it's, shall I say, oxymoron to say there is a new normal. Perhaps that is the way it is. So if a lawyer is disrupted, a chartered accountant like me is disrupted. I am disrupted because if I am sitting in my office and a client wants to seek my advice, he comes to me and I proudly say, oh, this is the law. He says, sorry sir, I was sitting in the reception just now, Central Board of Direct Taxes has issued a circular, I saw it on my mobile, and this is the law. I'm updated overnight. So you go to a doctor, the problem is you're not going to a doctor with consultation anymore. You've Googled everything, I have knee pain, I have here, there. You're interrogating the doctor more than the doctor is interrogating. And the reality is, a doctor may have seen 10,000 patients. And the doctor may have read several thousand medical articles in his 40-year career like I have. But a computer reads millions of pages in a second and provides that. So the next question will be judgments and analysis. Computer can give you all. Can it give you judgments, analysis, customizing, those things? Perhaps the answer is, some say no, but the reality is the answer is yes. Studies have proved that a large part, maybe with just about 7% error rate, approximately, a computer can analyze pathology reports with a 7% inaccuracy as compared to humans, and an equally low number of radiological reports, whether it's x-rays, etc., as compared to what humans, expert doctors look at an x-ray and their analysis, despite their seeing 10,000 patients, are prone to errors. Computers are not prone to that sort of error. So the question comes is, will computers replace humans in judgment? The answer is yes, there will be. And the judgment has come. There was a Newsweek up page in 2017 or 16, I remember reading. It said 200,000 lawyers at the bottom of the ocean. Sorry, it also had an article, that was a different subject. It had an article on, it said the title Goldman Sacked. Instead of Goldman Sachs, it said Goldman Sacked. What was the article about? That Goldman Sachs in the New York office had traders who used to trade on the exchange. They're making millions for Goldman Sachs. They had 800 traders. Overnight, they introduced algorithms, and the number of traders came down to just 2. Because computers will decide, when you are exercising judgment, you're doing based on data. Am I not? Most of the time it is data. Very even physical when you're looking at is data in a way. You're looking at the cloud tower, is it dark, it is white, that is the in-a-way data to say whether it rains, and you're looking at the probabilities, those sort of things. So look at where the computing has gone. It's gone into affective computing also, and emotions have come. So technology is just one disruptor. You have other disruptors which are coming through in the biological field. There's a whole host of things, including bioprinting, where effectively your cells can be printed using 3D printing and biotechnology developments. So you can get your liver or heart replaced with your own cells in the same design. There's a lot of advancement of that. That's not the subject. But the point I'm trying to make, you take all of these 3D printing, you take big data, you take Internet of Things, Internet of Wearables, all of these waves are actually overlapping and lapping one on top of the other, creating a tsunami which is engulfing the business world, the services world, the medical world, the physical world. That is the heart of technology. Then you have this new trend, ESG, environment, social, governance. Companies where investments will happen will be based on ESG scores. And companies are now worried about ESG. They were not worried in the past. Everybody talks of being green. So it's not just about trying to see whether I replace plastic water bottles with glass bottles. It's not about those. It's everything, even a fan. If I am a manufacturer of fans, and I have my product, which is a hot selling product, is a plastic fan, that is not biodegradable. So I have a low ESG score because of that, so I have to change my product range. Then you talked of gender diversity. I heard that murmur when it was 32% to 68 or whatever, it was 34, 66. Why was that even spoken about? Because that is part of the social, whether it's gender diversity, whether it is sexual harassment, all those processes companies are judged by. And then governance. ESG is again transforming companies in a big way. There are ESG committees in companies. So that products, look at even today's paper, it was there a few days ago actually, about the simple thing like Parley, etc. have to close down many of their operations because they are not able to get paper straws. Because the government is banning single-use plastics from July 1st. And the plastic straw is a single-use plastic. There is no supply of paper straws adequate to meet the demand because it has to come from China. This is the challenge. So the real challenge for all of you will be understanding the changing world. Read those tea leaves. I cannot tell you what the world in future. I can only tell you these are the trends. It is for you to apply and say, what does this mean for the future? One thing is certain. Elements which contributed to your success will not be the same in future. There is no perpetuity of those elements. Second, jobs will be scarce. Technology will disrupt jobs. Despite McKinsey's study which said for every job there will be 2.6 million jobs which will come. But the reality is, if you see just Silicon Valley, if you see 2003 and then you go to 2015 and compare with the three largest companies in 2003, which were predominantly automobile companies which employed 1.1 million people, and then you come in 2015 to the Silicon Valley, they were the top three companies by market capitalization and revenues too. They employed 130,000 people. So where is 1.1? And in United States today they say 0.05% of new industries which is formed after 2000 is where the jobs are. Only 0.05. That means the new companies are not employing people. They require much less people. The old brick and mortar companies will not. So people will move to services, will move to becoming entrepreneurs. But the challenge is, if you're reading about riots, when just 50,000 jobs were being offered in the military, there was so much of riots and trains burning. What is 50,000 as a number? In some of our Deloitte offices, in Deloitte in Hyderabad, we have more than 50,000. So So why are there riots across the country when army is trying to recruit? That's because joblessness. People are disrupted. Who's putting up plants? If you put up, even Amazon puts up a huge facility, it's significantly automated. Because in addition to all what I spoke, I didn't use the term robotics. I didn't use the term artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence is moved from AI, basic AI, which you get in all your texting and all that, which is just basic AI, to artificial and general intelligence, to artificial super intelligence. But the human mind has been replicated big time. But this is the world for you in the future. So what does it mean? We asked Tom Friedman, the author of World is Flat, Deloitte interviewed, we asked him what should we do if all this disruption is happening. He said 5 things. First he said, think like an immigrant. I'll never forget this, think like an immigrant. An immigrant from Syria goes all the way to Germany, new country, new language, new culture, new food habits, everything. He starts afresh, his qualifications are useless. He would have been an engineer, nobody cares. He's a Syria qualification, not valid in Germany. So he starts life afresh, he has to succeed. Think like an immigrant. Second, he talked of, thinking like an artisan. He said, who will be disrupted last? If you're saying, I go to P.R. Ramesh because he has got a touch which nobody else has got, the way he deals with a particular thing. Computer may deal with it, but may not have a P.R. Ramesh touch. Maybe. But still, computer will achieve a P.R. Ramesh touch, but P.R. Ramesh will be disrupted at last, as opposed to somebody who's just ordinary. Third, he said, be always in beta mode. But the fourth, he gave a formula. He gave a formula, PQ plus CQ is greater than IQ. PQ is the passion quotient and CQ is the curiosity quotient. It's greater than IQ. He says future companies don't care for IQ. They care whether you have passion and whether you have the curiosity. Whether you have the curiosity to look around, the term used by director was there. He said be curious. Whether you be curious and look around what are all happening, and then understanding its effect and what does it mean for you, what you should do. Not what's in the textbooks, because what's in the textbooks, a lot will be of the past. The change is of the future. Passion quotient is greater than IQ. Last he said, think like a businessman, where a businessman takes risks, so you'll have to be willing to take risks. You'll have to be willing to abandon what you have, irrespective, even if it means your specialization. And therefore, let me close with two pieces of advice. 3 P's and 4 H's is what we need to remember. And the 3 P's are, the first is have purpose. You need to have a purpose. Why are you here? Why am I wanted? I should ask myself. If I don't ask me, am I wanted because I have a CA qualification? Am I wanted because I have a knowledge? Am I wanted because of a personal brand, which was the term which is used? Am I wanted because of the organization where I am working? Why am I wanted? Will I be wanted tomorrow? Will all those elements be required tomorrow is what we need to constantly assess. Every birthday is not a year of celebration, not a date of celebration. It's a day of introspection. In 1 year has happened. What have I learned? New skills? Am I ready for the future? Past is history. Future is what matters. So the first is purpose. Second is perseverance. You need to persevere. And third, of course, passion, which I spoke about. Failures will happen. Failure is not in falling down, it's failing to get up. In life, you will have failures. And then the 4 H's are very important. The first H, in my view, the most important, is honesty. Live your life in such a manner that your autograph is sought, not your fingerprint. It means you're not going to jail. Even celebrities are going to jail. Even aberrations. Right or wrong, I'm not sitting in judgment. The point is there is a perceived aberration. Martha Stewart had to serve time. The point, therefore, is be honest. Whatever you do, integrity, Be open, saying I have done this wrong. Honesty makes all the difference in life, in coming up. Because one aberration can bring down you from the highest pedestal. Rajat Gupta came down from the highest level. The most sought after man. He could walk into the White House. He was in the boards of the top companies. Today I'm not sure he is the most sought after man. He was the most sought after man. Second, which is the most important, is health. You could be the most knowledgeable person in the world. You could be the wealthiest person in the world. But if you are not healthy, there's no use. You can't live the life. Focus on health all through your life. That means whether, I don't have to tell you whether it's to avoid junk foods or what it is, whether to exercise. I'm not an expert on that. All I'm saying is focus on health. The third, which is touched upon as part of your things, is being human. You earn a salary for your living, but that is for your life. But to make a life by giving, you have to learn to give, you have to learn to serve society. In Deloitte, we had a program called the Impact Day program, which took us to the Limca Group of Records, where everyone on a single day, the entire organization worldwide, used to do social service. Doesn't matter, you could be chairman, you could be an office peon, you're out into social service, multiple streams, multiple projects, whole day. People were overjoyed. Those who even dealt with a pet hospital came back and said, "Sir, can I go there every week?" I said, "Who's talking to you? This was just on Impact Day, we wanted to do social service." Somebody saw teaching in a government school, children conducting a class, they were so overjoyed, and when they started teaching and saw the joy of the students, they wanted to do it more often. Who stopped them? So giving back to society is extremely important, because you have taken, the J.R.D. Sarkar said, what comes from the people should go back to the people. You need to do that. So being human. And the fourth important thing is hunger. You need to have that hunger for success. You need to work towards that. Director admissions spoke about choices. And I'll close with just two things. Success doesn't depend on the choices you make. Success depends on what you make of the choices. Remember that. As I said in my own life, I made some choices. You know, thankfully I have come back today. I may have been God knows where. I have no idea. But that's, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about where I am, where I will be tomorrow. And the last thing, which again I draw upon director admissions and a small anecdote. There was a person, a soothsayer, who predicts the future. He was like me. There was a soothsayer, a wise man. So he would always predict. And there were some guys, students like you, some of you were wearing jackets who wanted to do them wrong. So what did they do? They took a pigeon, put that in their pocket here inside, went to the soothsayer with their arms around like this. The guy went around like this and said, "Is the pigeon which I have dead or alive?" If he said alive, he would squeeze it dead. If he said dead, he would release it. And what was the answer of the soothsayer? He said, "The answer is in your hands." That's exactly what it is, and that's exactly what the director's admission said. Your future is in your hands. Don't subcontract your future. The future is not in IMT faculty hands. Your future is not in your parents' hands. Your future is not in the hands of your colleagues when you join an organization or the bosses in that organization. Your future is in your hands. Don't subcontract it. And all the very best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your thought-provoking address.
and I'm sure the audience is enriched by your inspiring thoughts. As a small token of appreciation, I would like to request our director to present a memento to the chief guest, Shri P.R. Ramesh.
I'll be extempore. So, good afternoon to one and all, dignitaries on the dais, faculty and staff of IMT Hyderabad, parents, and last but not the least, my dear students of 2022-24 batch. It's my pleasure to propose the vote of thanks of such an august gathering that we have today. And I think that basically it is all about the fact that Mr. P.R. Ramesh said, which is basically about 3 P's and 4 X that you should remember, always remember. And I'll come to it later on. And I would like to first thank the chairperson admissions, Professor Dhananjay Singh. Professor Dhananjay, you suddenly made one student very famous. Now all of them would be searching as to who is that one person who is from Singapore, which is in India. So, but I was thrilled, and it is kind of music to my ears to hear that this year we have more BCom students. So I had the placement. So basically, from my perspective, it is really a pleasure to hear that there are more BCom students and there is a lot of diversity, because that is one question that as the placement head, me and my team are always asked by the corporates is, what is the diversity of your batch? Not only gender diversity in terms of what is the number of commerce graduates, pharmacy graduates, do you have doctors, do you have engineers, and so on. So I think this batch addresses a lot of these answers, and thank you, Professor Dhananjay, for bringing this diverse batch to us. Next, I would like to thank Professor Chakrapani, Dean Academics, and as you rightly said, I think Professor Chakrapani, with a very short story, you told us about inaction versus action. And I think, although to a crowd of millennials, I do not know how apt it is to talk about Gita, but I think in Gita chapter 2 there is a sloka called Shishaste Shadimam Kam Prapannam, which is basically where Lord Krishna tells Arjun, as a shish, as a student, what is action for you and what is inaction for you. So I think if you have some time, go and read Gita chapter 2, that will give you a lot of clarity to what, further adding to what Professor Chakrapani was trying to say. I would like to thank Dr. Sri Harsha Reddy, Director, IMT Hyderabad. He told us some aspects of the program which is in line with the vision and mission statement of the institute. And this is very important, and as he rightly said, that you have to remain curious and keep learning. I think these are the shortest, in the shortest words, this could be explained as to what you should be doing in the 2 years of journey that you have with IMT Hyderabad. And last but not the least, Mr. P.R. Ramesh, I think it was a very informative and apt address, sir. Something our students would like to carry with them. You talked about various aspects, and I think 2 things that personally are a good takeaway for me. One is that this examination is a continuous examination of life, is a continuous examination. So today all of you would have cracked CAT, CMAT and so on, and come here thinking that, oh, I have come here, I have cracked this exam. But I think in another 7-8 months, you would be having your summer internship placements. Then when you crack that, then another 1 year, you have your final placements, interviews and so on. When you crack that, you feel, oh, I have arrived, I have got a job in this organization, in Deloitte, in Marico or whatever. And then you realize, no, exam is just begin. So exam has just begun. And another thing that Mr. Ganesh actually rightly said is basically about the continuous change that we are witnessing, and which makes it very, very important for all of us to constantly be on our toes. Not only you, the students, but also for us as the faculty and as the head of placements also, I mean, how we can be on our toes and always cater to this world which is always changing. Again, I would like to quote some words of ancient wisdom. This is a verse taken from Yajurveda, which says, Sena Vaktu Seno Bhanuktu, which is basically, I'm sure you would have recited it somewhere. If it sounds familiar, some of you are smiling. So, this is in the morning assembly. I am a Kendriya Vidyalaya product and I have been reciting it. And there you recite Sena Vaktu Seno Bhanuktu. So basically that also is all about continuous learning. If you look at the meaning of the verse, it is about continuous learning. So thank you, Mr. Ramesh, for your address. You have been very kind to come here and address our incoming batch, and I am sure your words of wisdom will help them go a long way in their journey to achieve their careers. Last but not the least, before I sign off, I would like to ask all the students a question. And be honest about it. How many of you think that you have joined one of the top 10 B schools of the country? Be honest. Only raise your hand if you actually feel so. Few hands. I think 2 or 3, 4, 5. Okay. An institute is as good as its students. How many of you feel that with your hard work, determination and performance, you will make this institute one of the top 10 B schools of the country by the time you graduate? So nice to see all the hands. That is the spirit we need to take you ahead. Thank you so much.
I request all the students to assemble here for the Know Your Faculty session at 2:30 at this same venue. Thank you.